Hi, I'm Wendy Vecchi. I wanted to show you how easy it is to add shading detail to stamped images with my Wendy Vecchi Make Art Blendable inks and the Ranger Detail Blending Tool. It's time to make art, and I wanted to show you how to use my Wendy Vecchi Make Art Blendable dye inks with my stamp stencilets from Stampers Anonymous. So this stamp set comes with a coordinating stencil, and I'll show you why that's important. We'll use the Make Art Blendable inks today. I have chose 4 colors. We'll use a regular size blending tool, and then I switch to the detail blending tool later on. And then also my stamping will be done in Jet Black Archival. So what I've already done so far, I have my stamp chosen. I have my perfect white cardstock in my stamp platform and it's ready to go. So first thing I need to do is to ink my stamp with Jet Black Archival, and I chose Jet Black Archival because it's a permanent waterproof ink. So if my stamping is not perfect, since this is in a stamp platform, I have the option to add another layer of ink. Make sure everything is perfect. Okay, I like that. So I'll take it out of my stamp platform then, just give it a very quick dry because once it's dry, this is permanent. So that's going to allow me to use my Wendy Vecchi Make Art Blendable inks right over the top of it. I like to take a little piece of washi tape. Help me. Another blooper. And make a little loop, and that's going to hold my cardstock on my craft sheet. So now that's not going to slide around. So if you look at the stencil, this comes with the set and it is perfectly sized to fit the stamp. So if you look at this, it's not going to fit. This big leaf is kind of that way, so I know this is how my stencil will fit. So I'll just put another piece of tape down here just to make sure it doesn't shift. And you'll see it's perfectly sized. So the benefit of this is that you can use your ink pads to color in these small areas. And the really cool feature tool is the detail blending tool. So I know I want my leaves to be lighter at the tips, so I can just go ahead and start adding my light color at the tip. And you can see the cardstock is awesome. It blends really, really well. This is Prickly Pear on my detail blending tool. So I'll go ahead and get all those light areas done. I probably want a little bit of a highlight in the center here, and you can see how easy it is, just a little bit of swiping. Okay, so now I'll switch to a darker color, so I'll switch to the Fern Green Blendable ink, and I'm going to swipe up from the base. And I want that color to be darker there where the color would normally be darker on a flower. A little bit up here, and again I'll swipe up, swipe down, and blend those two colors together. The more ink you add, the darker your color gets because these blendable inks are a translucent color. So if you want it to be pale, add a little bit of ink. The darker colors get done with more layers of ink. I'll just keep swiping until I have my leaves all done. You can see that extra little time you take to add the blending really makes it look a whole lot better. It's not so flat and boring. Again, it's a quick process. And if you look at this after you take the stencil off, you can always replace the stencil and add more ink if you want to later on. So I have my leaves done. I'm happy with that so far. And you can see there's nothing on the background, which is the benefit of the stencil that coordinates with the stamp. And the detail blending tool makes it super simple. So the next thing I want to do is to fill in my flower. And I need to just figure out how this fits, and that looks pretty good right there. So when I'm working on a larger area, I think I have not much patience, so I want to get my first layer of ink down quickly. So I'll just press, twist, and turn and add a little bit of sunflower on here. Okay, so now I'll start adding my shading with the detail blending tool, and this is where the magic happens. So the flower is really pretty cute, but the more ink you add, the better it gets. So I'll just start lightly, and this is Poppy. And I'll just start swiping my colors on. And start with the light hand because you can always go back and add more. Once that color's on there, it's there to stay. These little areas that have turned up little petals, I can just kind of slide along the stencil, and the detail blending tool fills in those areas to make those more dimensional too. I'll do those little areas. And then I could just swipe from the center of the flower out. And again, the more ink I add, the darker it gets. And the whole time, my background is all protected by that stencil. This makes a super simple card. It looks like you took quite a lot of time. If I wasn't talking here, we could get this done in about 2 minutes. I can always go back now if I want to add more color to it. There's something magical about sunflower, and I add it to almost every project because it just kind of glows, if that's the right word. It just kind of makes everything really, really pretty and vibrant. Okay. And you can see again, the more I add, the darker it gets. For my center, I could color that if I wanted to, but I think I'll just add some enamel accents at the end. So quick and easy with the blendable inks, stamped in jet black archival on my perfect cardstock from Ranger. And here's a better look.